The government and people of Nepal feel truly honored and privileged to warmly welcome the distinguished heads of state and government and other delegates to the 4th BIMSTEC Summit in Kathmandu. I sincerely thank you, all the fellow BIMSTEC leaders, for the prompt consent to host this summit within such a short span of time and for your gracious presence here today. I wish you all a pleasant stay in Kathmandu. Distinguished heads of state and government, the world is watching our gathering here today with keen interest because as a region with 1.6 billion people, representing 22% of world population and combined GDP of US $2.8 trillion, our vision, commitment, and action will have an impact on global political and economic order. Against we have assembled here with a solemn commitment to making the Bay of Bengal region peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable. Our countries together have a dynamic potential imbued with the creative ingenuity and diligence of our peoples, opulence and generosity of the nature, richness and depth, the civilization and magnificence of diverse cultures and heritages. And this unique platform of BIMSTEC not only connects our countries, it also connects South Asia with Southeast Asia. And it connects mountains with oceans, reinforcing ecological interdependence. It brings together a resolve for our leadership, a resolve for progress and prosperity, and for sustainable development. BIMSTEC is not just a sum of its parts or a sum of the member states. It is more than that. It is also an idea that deeper integration can unleash the economic dynamism and address the development needs of countries and peoples. And an idea to accelerate social progress and promote collaboration and partnership. It can be also an identity rooted in rich civilizational heritage, an identity founded on shared values, an identity shaped by common understanding, an identity based on the unity in diversity. It is also a destiny ordained by the organic linkage of ecosystem between high mountains and deep seas. Destiny shaped by contiguous geography as well as potential of robust people-to-people contacts. Above all, it is our commitment, a commitment for deeper integration of our economies, of our trade and commerce. It is a commitment espoused over 2 decades ago as a thoughtful response to seize the opportunities of globalization and shifting of economic locus to Asia. And I must say, it also has to evolve as a cohesive regional grouping, an association of connected countries connected societies and connected peoples. Distinguished heads of state and government, our group together has a promising potential with a plethora of opportunities, with rich natural resources and dynamic and vibrant populations. Moreover, we have been blessed by the wisdom, knowledge, and innovation of our ancestors. In realizing our potentials, first and foremost, we must liberate our people from the clutches of poverty. The brutal clutches that drag us in a vicious cycle of deprivation, inhuman, unjust, and malign, that drains our potential and ridicule our efforts as well as intentions. The dexterity of our hand-working people cannot pay off if we fail to lift millions of people from the suffering reach of poverty. The dream of prosperity falters if we fail to defeat the darkness of poverty. The BIMSTEC poverty plan of action must be fully implemented. We must build on the progress made in the implementation of Millennium Development Goals and integrate the transformative 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We must ensure that in accelerating the economic development, no one is left behind. Distinguished heads of state and government, we have been bearing the heavy burden of nature's fury. Disproportionate consequences of climate change have adversely impacted us. Calamities such as landslides and floods have caused colossal loss. Ironically, we are being penalized for the mistakes we never made. To face this challenge, that we need is collective preparedness to prevent the perils of such calamities. We also need to intensify collaboration to adapt to and mitigate the menace of climate change based on the principle of common but differentiated responsibility and respective capacities. We are in the lap of the same Himalayas. Our rivers originate from the Himalayas and merge in the Bay of Bengal. The clouds from the Bay of Bengal bump against the Himalayas and land in our country in the form of ice and rain, or snow or rain. The typhoons in the Bay of Bengal shake the Himalayas and trigger avalanches and floods. Avalanches and floods in high mountains in return create troubles of various kinds in Bangladesh and in other coastal areas. The nature has not just created the Himalayas and the Bay of Bengal, but also the bone of existence, one that requires us to constantly collaborate and cooperate. Esteemed friends, with the wave of Fourth Industrial Revolution, new avenues have opened up. The technological revolution is transformative. Old modes of production and consumption are being transformed exponentially. This phenomenon has presented us a wide menu of challenges as well as opportunities. And complacence is not in the menu. We cannot afford to be the mere bystander at our own peril. We need to invest more in information and communication technology. And we need to invest smartly. Most importantly, we need to invest in our youth to inculcate entrepreneurial spirit in them, to nourish their creativity, to spur the innovation, and to impart skills to them, befitting the rapid technological change. It will contribute to unleash their vigor and energy for creativity and production, thus varying the desperation and vulnerability. We should strive to best utilize the energy of our youth. Our youth and children are our future. We have to work together for youth and children and for the future generations. Investment in youth and children is investment for prosperous future. Fellow leaders, our region is not immune from dangers of terrorism, organized crimes, drugs trafficking, women trafficking, and money laundering, among others. We must remain united in defeating terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. We must combat all other transnational organized crimes through an enhanced level of cooperation and coordinated efforts. Peace and stability is essential for sustained economic growth and development. And I believe that faster development with social justice and the rapid growth with equitable distribution are key to ensuring peace and stability. Distinguished participants, trade is an engine for economic growth. It is unfortunate that we trade little within the region. An early conclusion of the agreements on trade in goods, trade in services, investment, mutual assistance in custom matters, dispute settlement, and trade facilitation is the need of hour to enable BIMSTEC to effectively move forward. When the protectionist tendencies and increasing barriers are rife in the world, increased understanding among us is a sine qua non to realize our commitments for free and fair trade. Our success will depend on the honest and time-bound implementation of all the instruments that we have signed.